right, welcome to the show. My guest today is a straight-up legend in the game. Yeah, you've seen him on the stage, on the screen, and possibly giving notes in the writer's room full of people, pretending to take him seriously, but he does. Please welcome the one and only, a good friend of mine, avid golfer. He doesn't smoke cigars, but I'll get him there. Chris Spencer.
Golf addict.
Yeah, you're ridiculous. We've been sitting here talking about golf courses the whole time.
Here's what's funny. I don't care who you are. Like today, I was just eating, and this guy disrespected me, but he had on a golf shirt, so then I became his friend. Like I said, hey, man, you went to UCLA? I go, yeah. I go, me too. He goes, oh, were you an athlete? Now, I was like, now, is that racial, or do I look like I'm in shape?
No, that's a default question for a black dude that's kind of tall that looks athletic.
So then he had a golf shirt, and then we started talking golf, and then now he became my racist friend.
Hey, so listen, here's the funny thing, too, is that I started off golf as a caddy when I was younger.
Really?
I caddied at Inverness Golf Club in Toledo, Ohio. But I did that time because my father made me work. So I would ride my bike to the golf course. Wow. I immediately went from a junior caddy or apprentice all the way up to an A caddy. It means you go get paid more. But I would do like 2 rounds sometimes, during the day. In the summertime,
yeah.
And that's when we had, back then, it was all tour bags. It wasn't none of this light bags.
No.
So especially when you had women that had everything in the bag. But at the time, I didn't appreciate the sport. It was like, there really wasn't a lot of black people out there playing.
Right.
My uncles had their old crew that they would go play, but they play on the public.
Right.
So I didn't appreciate the game. But then when I got into the league and some of my old heads were playing, I got back into kind of, okay, this is...
Who are some of those people?
It's Ron Harper.
Yes. Ron took me to, is it Yankee, whatever, something, Yankee Doodle, Yankee Straits in Ohio. That's my first real golf course.
Right.
Yeah.
So, and it was Ron. So, and then I remember the name Bimbo Coles. They used to hoop. Okay, so when we were at Golden State, we were at Atlanta.
Listen, I'm a little older than you, but everybody you name in basketball,
okay.
know.
So we would take, Lenny Wilkins was real cool. He was our coach at the time. We would take our clubs on the road sometimes.
Wow.
So I got into the game that way. And then, especially once I retired, that was it. It was just like, game over. Where can I go? So for you, and we'll talk about the comedy stuff later, but this is even more interesting.
Yes. We don't even
what
have
got you into golf?
So most black men and people of color my age, right? I'm talking 26. Early 50s.
Right.
If you could literally go up to somebody that's in their 50s, that's black, that's playing golf and go, did you start in 97? And they'll be like, how'd you know?
Exactly.
97, when Tiger got the jacket on Sunday, all of us, especially the entertainers, we were hitting golf balls on Monday. Me, Flex, Will, Dwayne Martin, Anthony Anderson, Cedric, we're like, yo, we don't have to hoop no more.
We can go golf.
We could go golf.
What is it about the game? Huh?
I've never, ever, I used to hoop, not on your level. I've never dreamt and put outfits out about what I'm wearing tomorrow. Like, I'm thinking what I'm going to wear.
Exactly.
We do a golf trip like y'all to the DR, right? I pack all the golf stuff, and then I try to make room for whatever we're going to do at night. It's sickening.
It's sick. It's sick.
Listen, this is how sickening it is.
Okay.
Tell me if you ever do this. You be driving somewhere, and you're on the freeway, and you look and see some grass, and you be like, is that a golf course? It's golf course. Where the sand traps? Where everything at? Yes, or from the plane. You'd be like, yo, where?
Yeah.
Excuse me, sir, I know I've never been to this part of Portland. What's that course right there? It's sickening.
The thing that people, you got to understand, especially playing a team sport.
Right.
Because it's different dynamics when you're in a team sport. Like, does somebody pass you the ball? Do they rebound? Do they play defense? Whatever, do they help? In golf, bro, you can't blame nobody. You shank that thing in the woods.
Only you.
You missed the putt. You dribble it off the tee.
Right.
You can't blame anybody at all.
You want to.
Yeah, you want
Who's
to.
breathing? Man, were you thinking while I was in my backswing?
A car, if somebody's working on the course, they go by, you want to blame the shot on that?
Oh, so sorry. Did you ever play with Jim Brown?
No.
Oh, you've heard stories.
I heard stories.
So, ladies and gentlemen, Jim Brown, arguably one of the greatest athletes of all time. You had to be in certain areas when he was playing. Like, you either had to be dead in front or in behind. or behind. You could not be on his side. You could not be in his peripheral. And I always wondered why. And then one time I was in Palm Springs playing with Fred Williamson, who's his partner. He told me, he said, "Yo," he said,
how far back?
He said, get behind me or in front of me. I said, "What?" He said, "Can I cuss on this? Can I cuss on this?" He said, "Ass or balls?" I go, "What's that mean?" He said, "You got to be either in front of me or the back." I said, "Your best friend Jim." He goes, "I know." I go, "Why?" He goes, "Because in football, that was our blind spots. So this is, we don't like this.
We like to see. Like
I need to either here or here, but don't be back here effing around."
Really? Like, bro, it is traveling now. And I hate this, though. I hate this. It's tough to take clubs if I'm only going to go somewhere and play one round. For me.
Right.
I want to play multiple rounds, unless it's like a special place that you want to play.
Right.
Because if I'm going to drag my clubs, I really want to play.
Right.
And
but it's hard. You're not gonna get Reynolds your size.
I know. I can't play with Reynolds. I played Wingfoot.
Wow.
Because it was during the playoffs about 3 years ago, and FedEx lost my clubs. Okay, they lost it in a warehouse in Fort Worth. So I didn't have any clubs. But so I got invited by Mike Breen, who's the play-by-play for ESPN.
Yep.
Okay. So he was like, and my partner, Brian Anderson, who I was with on TNT, said, "I want to invite you guys. You're doing the playoff games. I want to invite you to Wingfoot." I'm like, I don't have no clubs. I said, I got to do it. I got it. So I just played with rental clubs, played terrible, but you know what? I played Wingfoot.
You played Wingfoot.
Play Wingfoot. But bro, I mean, that's people don't understand. When you golf, I'm not going to rent clubs. I gotta have, because they're spec right, my grips are right, my shafts, everything else, everything is my putters catered towards my swing and my game.
Whenever somebody comes to town and they go, "You gonna play?" Or and they go, "I'll just rent some." I go, "Oh, you don't really play. You don't really play. I only have one friend that does that, and he's a pro, and he's just lazy. Will Lowry. Yeah. Will just take anybody's club and shoot 68.
See, that's just a skill set right there, bro.
But in terms of like dragging your clubs around as an athlete or still being in this, Brevin.
Yeah, Brevin take it everywhere.
Brevin's at Pine Valley right now.
Yeah, Brev play all the time, bro.
Brevin takes his. They told me like our kids were roommates at college at Howard, and so I found someone just as sick as me. He's sick. Like we have this thing called Grint. Are you on that app, Grint? You get an alarm when people in your group or friends that are on Grint tee off. Where is he now? Where is he? He plays a lot.
So 97, and speaking of 97 as I transition, at that time, it's funny because I want to talk about what you're doing currently and stuff like that. But I want to go back in time because I like kind of the origins, not the origins, so to speak, but kind of a growth process. Back then in 1997, you and I did something together because you were hosting the Vibe show. Quincy Jones at the time, you got it, 97, right?
We did a sketch or something too, didn't we?
We did. I was trying to find some cuts, but we couldn't find it. And you hosted the show. That was your
call. I have all the episodes.
Do you?
Yeah. Is this live?
Yeah, it's live.
Damn it.
Yeah.
Rewind, you guys.
Yeah. No, we taping it, so we might be able to put it in. No, I'm just playing.
I gotta try to find it. We did a sketch or something. You drove a car. It was like action. It was I don't know if it was a spoof. We did something, right?
It was. But talk to me about. I want to go back to that time, and people got to understand too. Arsenio kind of set the tone for. Late night, but African urban show. People, if you're not old enough to remember kind of the feel and sense of what it meant for Arsenio Hall, who happens to be from Ohio, Cleveland, shout out, OH and the Dime, what he did for TV, late night, because it was different. You didn't see people of color like us do what he did, get the guests, but it was energetic, it was exciting, he was emotional at times. It was a party. So he kind of set that. So take me back through kind of what you're just young Chris Spencer.
Yeah. Hair.
He had to line up, edge up, everything. What you were, what prompted that with Quincy to come to you at that time at a young age to say, I want Chris to be on the show. And initially what you were feeling when it finally started to come together.
So there was a nationwide search to do a late night talk show based on the magazine, which was hot, right? It was the hottest urban magazine, them and Source. magazine. And so they wanted to do a late night talk show. There was a void, and there was Letterman and Leno. That was it. Nothing for us because Arsenio had left. So they had a nationwide search, and the manager at the Laugh Factory, Jamie Masada, kept asking me, "You should go. You'll be a great host," because I used to always host nights at the Laugh Factory. I go, "Why would I do that? I'm an actor." You know what I mean? Like, I want to be an actor.
Right. I want to take you seriously, right? People
not necessarily seriously, but my path was Eddie Murphy or
Comedy
the Wayans. I wasn't thinking
acting.
Arsenio.
Right.
And I knew if I became a late night talk shows, it might take me somewhere else, and then I may not ever act again. So I was a thespian. And he's like, "Just go meet Quincy Jones." I said, "If I meet him, he's going to talk me into it," right? I think that's how cocky I was.
Right.
So I kept saying no, no, no. And he finally said, "Buddy, just go have a cup of coffee with him." I said, "I don't even drink coffee. I'll go meet him." So I go to Universal Studios, not the rides, but his office at Universal Studios. His back is turned looking out the window. And they go, "Mr. Jones, Chris Spencer's here to meet you." And I go, "How you doing, Mr. Jones?" He turns around and goes, "So you the motherfucker that don't want to meet me." I was like, "Oh, this is the real
OG.
This is the real
OG,
Hollywood.
right?
This is the real Hollywood." And we talked about the history of comedy, the history of late night talk shows from, the Lenos, the Lettermans, the Jack Parr, and Merv Griffin. He loved it. He's like, "We got to find something to fill this empty void." And so he said, "I want you to basically audition for this." There was like 5 or 6 guys that I guess they had a week of mock interviews. And
who else? Do you remember who else they interviewed for that? Okay,
I don't.
It'd be interesting to see who else they had for that.
Yeah, and I won. I won, and we had this concept of me doing this incredibly late night talk show based on the magazine, and then things went awry when Keenan also got a late night talk show, and so now not only were we going to split this underserved black audience, they announced us coming out on the same day at the same time. August 4th at 11 p.m., Chris Spencer's The Vibe, not even Chris Spencer's The Vibe, I can talk about that too. Vibe and The Keenan Show. So now we have people flipping back and forth trying to figure out which black show they want to watch.
Now, do you think with Hollywood too, was that something that was done
On purpose?
On purpose.
Absolutely. Back then I couldn't. They were like, "You're such a great sport that you don't talk bad about it." I think it was like, let's let them battle it out.
Really? Because Arsenio at that time in 97 had already...
He was done.
He was done
like 94, 95.
94, after the Farrakhan stuff, right?
No, people. That's what we all think,
right? But
he
it's not.
actually carried on for like
I'm
another
saying,
6 months.
but that was kind of like
that's what people say.
kind of like the straw right there, or that kind of started stuff. Because I know at the time, you know better than me that the network and the show, they didn't want him to have Minister Farrakhan on. Arsenio was like, "No, I'm having him on."
Right.
So he fought that.
Yeah.
So at that time, the void was there. 2 black shows.
Yep.
2 up and coming.
Well, he was already kind of established.
Keenan was already established.
But not as a host. So 2 new hosts battling out for not only this audience, but even guests. Like, I'll be like, "Yo," for example, Jamie Foxx, "I need you to come to my show." He'd be like, "I got to do Keenan first."
That whole experience, because it was kind of short-lived because of all these dynamics that's going on.
Right.
Okay, that you had to deal with.
Yeah.
You wanted some creative control. You wanted the show to go a certain way.
Sure.
They didn't.
Well, what would happen is, I hate to interrupt you.
No, go ahead.
Is there's this urban magazine, right? And I'm trying to be urban, but of course we have to, we shouldn't have had to. They wanted to cater to the entire country. And I'm like, "Yo, we need to actually focus on our audience, and then they will come."
You're right.
Like they would tell me I was talking to the black guests differently. And like, you had this whole conversation with Don Cheadle. Like, "I don't know if the little lady in Idaho knows what that is." I'm like, "Why is she watching Vibe at 11 o'clock at night? Why are you caring about her?" We should be caring about the people who love Don Cheadle and love Vibe magazine and love this culture, and then they will come. Just like with the music, people come. Nas didn't write songs for everybody. He wrote songs for us, and then everybody came.
Oh wait, but let me ask you this though. So was it during the pitch when they talked to you about how we're going to structure the show?
Right.
Was that a conversation at the time of what your target audience is?
Sure. The target audience was definitely us, but they definitely would market it to everybody so everybody would know about what us was doing. And it just kind of went awry, especially that now you have these two black hosts fighting for this little audience. You know what I mean? But the influence of Vibe was crazy because stuff that I was creating on the show, like, Arsenio had Woof Woof, and I had a thing we were doing Raise the Roof. I would turn on Leno, and Leno was raising the roof. I'm like, and they started having more urban guests on Letterman and Leno. Like, they definitely had black people on the show, but they were
urban. But they had more urban guests.
Yeah.
Black people, don't get me wrong, but really at that time, because hip-hop and everything was really elevated.
Master P and Genuine and those kind of people started
going on Leno. No, at first they went, no.
Mary J, no. She was on my show first.
Right.
Usher was on my show first. Yeah. And then they were like, yo, we gotta get this audience.
Wow. So going through that too, and it's all, and as you evolved as a comedian, actor, what did you take away from that? Because it's easy to go one way, like, man, I failed, or I didn't succeed. I got to hear all this negativity. I may not recover from that.
Right.
But you went a different way. What did you learn from that whole experience?
And call it negative, and it's so fun. I have a thing called Chris's 2 cents.
Oh, I love it. You stupid too. You stupid.
So yesterday, I said one about people. If you come to the city, get ready to deal with liars because people lie.
That's the one.
Yes. And people call me
$5 million.
People call me.
You say go give you $5 million for your movie.
People call me. We talking about me? I was like, kinda. People lie. They lie to your
they lie
face.
So much, man.
And then people, since I'm like the mayor of Black Hollywood, right? Like everybody calls me for everybody else's number because I'm friends with everybody. I get along with everybody, and so when people were calling me, going, "Are you talking about me?" I'm like, "Not you, but a prototype," because people they have your best interest a lot of times, and then sometimes they're blowing smoke up your ass, and sometimes they just want to be liked. You know what I mean? But people promise you stuff, and I go, people call me about, do you think this can happen? Or they tell me, yo, this dude just told me this, and this, and I'll be like, it's not going to happen.
It's not going to happen.
You're a hater. No,
you'd have been through it. You'd have been through it. You've been through, and that's what I'm talking about as far as how that situation.
Right.
And again, it's been some other times after that you still had to learn. You still had to go through some stuff.
So what I learned was that you have to keep your guards up, right? You have to protect yourself because I don't care who they are, they will disappoint you. And you'll be like, you, the one I loved and trusted you. And it goes, you would want him to go, I'm the one that usually does that. You're not going to be disappointed by somebody you don't care about.
True.
So keep your guards up, people coming out to Hollywood. It's make-believe, okay? It's make-believe. And so if you keep that in mind, like, this ain't real, I think you'll do just fine. The people who are doing just fine understand that. But yeah, it's tough out here.
So how have you...
Look how burnt I am. I'm looking at
because you out there.
I'm burnt. Look at this.
I'm
Morris just out here. I'm Morris here and Boris here.
Did you wear a hat?
Yes.
That just didn't work. Yeah.
No, I just started wearing a hat. I was horrible with a hat. I know. I need to be wearing glasses too. They told me some shades.
So I can't play with shades, bro.
I've never tried, but I'm supposed to.
It feel uncomfortable.
That's how the hat used to feel for me. But then, I got to wear a hat. And then my wife's telling me I got to wear the suntan, whatever, sunblock.
Yo, the chemicals in that kind of messed up.
Exactly.
Right now. It's real messed up.
Yeah. And I think I'm real African, so I don't need it.
Yeah, the melanin. What's interesting about your career too is that you've grown so much as a comedian. And as an actor. You talked about, and we're gonna go back to part of your trajectory.
That's crazy. You've seen me since the beginning.
Since the beginning, because it's funny because you talked about this, and I think that's a very important point that you wanted to make, and you wanted to kind of stick to, that you had a plan already. Your plan, even though it was kind of set set, not gonna say in stone, but it was already, the precedent was already set with Eddie Murphy.
Right.
By being this high level comedian, but then being able to transfer that talent into a bigger platform in the film and movie and stuff like that. But from the comedy side, you had to take care of that part first. How, go back in 2000, 2001, what kind of comedian was Chris Spencer?
So here's the problem with why I don't think I did myself a disservice because of a talent that I have as a comedian. So as a comedian, you need to, all the greats, right? Kevin, Dave, Chris, Epps, Cedric, they work on their act over and over and over again until it's perfected. I had a problem with saying the same stuff over and over again because I relied on my wit a lot. Crowd work is real famous now and popular. Like I was the king of that. And so I never ever really focused on honing my act. And I never really did the road much, like how these people, you start off as a feature, then you become a middle, and then you become a headliner, because I kind of came into the industry spoiled. I was on the road opening for Jeff Foxworthy, so I'm staying at the Ritz, and I'm in first class, and I'm in theaters, and then from him I went to Damon Wayans, and I'm at the Ritz, and I'm on first class, and so I never ever did it that way where you really grow and become a great comedian. You need to be doing an hour night in, night out. I was in town doing commercials. I was hosting rooms, so I made enough money to not have to do that. So I did myself a disservice of not becoming a great comedian because I hated repeating. So I hosted a lot of stuff all around the country. And so if I was to go back, I would definitely do just that. In 2000 is when 2000, 2001. Yeah, I was doing bit roles and movies and TV shows, and I didn't really focus enough on the pure art of stand-up.
Of stand-up. Of really, it's like, I can hoop, like a player, not me in general, but a player. And this is what what you're talking about. I can hoop, but I really don't put in the work, the hours needed to really be great. Right. I can be really good because I'm talented as a player. But to really be great, it's the repetition.
You hear those Kobe stories, those Jordan stories.
That's right. All in the gym, all the time.
Larry
And that's what separates. For you, I don't think it's not the comedy side, because you're really good, especially writing jokes, but also impromptu. But it was putting in the work to develop your show. Exactly. And what that was. Exactly. You know what I mean? And that part is as important because the presentation on stage is what brings people in or makes people want to leave.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And, it's interesting that you say that too, because from the outside looking in, I'm like, well, he has all these different options.
Right.
He's, over here, he's doing this. But in your mind, you're like, yeah, but if I would have.
Exactly.
If I really would have honed in, but maybe that's your gift too, though, with regards to, maybe the stand-up, putting those hours in really wasn't who you truly are as a performer.
It's quite possible.
I mean, it could possibly be that. But at the time when you're younger, a lot of times you don't see it.
No.
You're on that grind.
You're on that
and you know what you wanted at the time, too.
If you were to go back and play, would you have done more?
Oh, yeah. Well, but here's...
Because it came natural to you, right?
It came so natural, but I always worked hard. I mean, when guys were sleeping, guys, we talk about Kobe's work ethic and Mike's. It's a lot of guys that put in the work.
Sure.
But those guys, because they're such phenomenal players and great and once in a lifetime, it seems like they do above and beyond.
Right.
And they do at times. But
they have a gift.
I was out here running the sand dunes. I was out working two to three times a day. I'm doing all the stuff. So I put in the work. My thing was I got hurt. My third year when I tore my ankle up. So that totally changed.
Right.
Ask a Grant Hill, ask a Penny Hardaway, not saying that I'm on their level.
Listen, we had I don't know if we were in a barbershop, but we had a barbershop conversation of what if they never got hurt? And the three names you just said.
I'm telling you. And so, but I see it though with players that are so talented that they've been so much better that the work ethic is not there. And you're seeing that in the comedy side too, because I love comedy. I love watching, but I love to see how people perform and kind of put the show together and evolve. And speaking of involvement, though, you not only, and we'll talk about this in a little bit more depth too, the on-stage presence, acting, but also the writing.
Yeah.
And do people really understand kind of the writing part of what you do?
Here's what's crazy. Yes, because people come up to me who I don't know, and they be like, you be writing.
How they say you be writing?
They think I'm like, remember the commercial Beatrice? They don't invent the blah, but they make it better.
Yeah.
They think I'm that guy for everybody. He be writing for everybody. I'm like, no. So I think I got the moniker writing for everybody because I do the award shows, right?
Right.
So I'm always writing for everybody.
So what award shows? What do you
from Image, Golden Globes, BET Awards, Emmys.
Now these are white and black comedians.
White and black comedians.
Right.
Mostly the blacks.
Okay.
I prefer the blacks.
The blacks.
Yes. That's where I get hired.
Okay.
The white comedians usually have their friends just like me. So what happens on these award shows is that if Jimmy Jackson is hosting the ESPYs, he's going to call the people who knows his voice. And we're going to write for you. Like I wrote for Steph. I called him out of nowhere. I called Will Lowry.
Yeah.
Steph's hosting the ESPYs. He needs me. I don't want no money. I just need to be there by his side.
Really?
Didn't take a check? No.
And how open was Steph to that?
Very open. Very open. Wide open. And he hit the shot.
Right.
So, but Jamie, Cedric, Kevin, Epps, Tiffany, Wanda Sykes, like, I'm there somewhere. You know what I mean? And it's gotten to a point where this is where people point at me and they don't name like TV shows. They go, you be right. You be right. You make everybody great. I go, not everybody. But it's gotten to a point now where people will watch an award show and then they'll go, they know exactly which joke I wrote.
Really?
Every time.
So you did it for Tom Brady, right? For the roast?
Yes, for Kevin.
You did it for Kevin.
I wrote for Kevin. Yes, I wrote for Kevin.
So how was it working with comedians like that? I mean,
it's lovely. Because we came up in the trenches together. You know what I mean? So imagine dudes who went to your AAU camp and now they the man.
I know. I love it, man. I love it.
I love Kevin. I love seeing him win. And he always hires me. You know, we created Real Husbands together. So our children are best friends. So that's like my brother. You know what I mean? But these people trust me because we know each other. When we was at McDonald's or whatever joking, and before there was a show and all of this, they know I'm funny. They know I know. Jamie knows for example, we did the ESPYs in 2000. You're there. Matter of fact, there's a shot when he says a joke and you go, ooh, yeah.
Right.
I think it was about Serena or something. Anyway, the tennis ball thing. Remember tennis ball? So Jamie, they hired me a lot because I'm the liaison sometimes between the production people and the act, right? So Jamie might not say F that joke, but I'm going to go, Jamie ain't going to do that, so we got to kind of figure out a way to do it. I'm the voice for these people. So they can always be the good guy. You know what I mean? And not that I'm the bad guy, but I'm going to speak up for them. And that's why they love my pen, but they also love my voice.
Is it, but for a comedian like Jamie, for a comedian like Kevin Hart or Seth, is it because you know them? Is it tougher still because you know them sometimes when they don't take a joke you want? No, okay.
Because I have another one. And
another one.
Listen, I'm so arrogant now with my comedy. Like if I'm on stage and the joke don't work, I think you didn't get it. There's no way.
There's no way it can't be funny, right?
Who are these people? These people who don't get it.
Now, is there someone you wrote for that you say I'd never write for him again?
No.
No? Didn't come across.
I mean, I've written for people and they've said my words wrong, and this didn't work, and I told you that wouldn't work, but no, we love each other. This comedy fraternity, you hear all this beef, and it's so small. The people who are going at each other, but the rest of us love seeing each other. We love seeing each other at the airport.
Right, when you're traveling, doing stuff. But is it like competition? You got competition in sports, and now in comedy, but you have a camaraderie, unwritten, friendly competition.
Sure.
But how big is it in your time as far as joke stealing?
I don't really hear about it. Here's what's so funny. I have a friend, and he called me one night and said, yo, I was in Toledo last night, and I wasn't doing well, and I did your joke. That's honest, right? I said, did it kill? It killed.
It killed.
Right. But this is how funny he is. So he calls me a couple months later. I go, he goes, I just shot my special. I go, congratulations. He said, you know that joke we do? I said, we? He did my joke on the special.
Did he?
How can I be mad? It was actually an older joke, but it was just, it was the honesty. I don't really hear about people stealing jokes anymore. It used to be bad. You remember the 90s, people getting fights, knocked out.
That's what I was, and that's the point I was getting to.
Right.
So did the time to switch, because even you had some stuff going on in the 80s like that too.
Right, yes.
Comedy-wise.
Yeah.
Why do you think that changed a little bit?
It still happens.
Maybe not as much.
I'm an elderly statesman now. So just like you don't hear much locker room stuff anymore, I don't really hear that stuff as much anymore. It definitely goes on.
I'm gonna push back, because in today's world with social media and all these internet and everything,
Yes.
a lot more stuff gets out.
I know the stuff that's out for sure.
Okay.
But I'm just talking about like the inner working. I'll have to hear it later. Blah 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 blah. And so, but I'm not in the trenches like that anymore. Maybe that's a better way to say it. I'm not, they see me and they're like, oh, they go, hey man, can you help me with this? And I'm not hearing about these two younger guys fighting over a joke. But you remember in the 90s, dude, it was
ugly.
I remember arguments like this. Hey man, you stole my joke. What joke? The thing about the blah, blah, blah. He said, dude, I've been doing that joke for 8 years. He's like, I've been doing it for 6.
Like he had a point. Hey, but but you've been in it. So changes in comedy, and and I always like to relate things to sports, because each era is different. And I tell people this all the time. They say, well, if Steph played back in the late 80s, 90s, he couldn't compete. I said, let me explain something to you. I said, one, you can't just transfer his talent, what he's doing today, and take that back. They said, well, why? I said, because he would grow up playing the game, being taught differently. Okay, so you're telling me Steph couldn't play back then, but Muggsy could, D. Brown could, Michael Adams could, Terrell Brandon could, Spud Webb could, and they're shorter than Steph.
Yep.
So, but they grew up being taught to play on the playground, in the alley,
right?
In these gyms and physical. So his game wouldn't be the same,
right?
And it's just like you can't transfer a player from the 80s and put him into like Jordan. Right. If Jordan played today, he'd be a different player, because he'd be so from comedy.
Yep.
It's changed so much, it evolved, but yet the essence is still the same.
Sure.
How have you seen the growth or the changes since you're the 90s, 2000s to where we're at now?
So earlier, I think there were more storytellers, the Cosbys, the Pryors, and audiences were patient. Right? You could tell a long form story. You could do Mudbone, and you could do these characters, and the audience would sit. And I think with the advent of Comic View and Def Jam, comedy became faster. We want the joke now. You know what I mean? And I think that storytelling form is starting to come back with Dave and like Ali Sadiq. Like people are Kevin takes his time with these stories. And so, I mean, funny is funny. Like you said, if you're good, you're good. You can adapt into any era. And so I like seeing that kind of stuff again, where people are telling these longer form stories as opposed to joke.
But David does it, Chappelle does it with a mixture. It's comedic.
Oh, yes.
But it's political.
Yes.
It's truth.
Yep.
It's a lot of things that go, and I think that he's earned that reputation where people are going to be more patient.
Sure.
To actually see what he's going to say.
Exactly.
And sometimes it's not even a joke. It's kind of the depth in which he's telling the story. And everybody can't do that.
No.
Kevin does his a different way. He keeps you in
Right.
by little sidebars, and
Sure.
then he leads up to it. So who else would you say, kind of from a young perspective, have you seen a young comedian that kind of has those chops right now? It was a good question, right?
Yeah. There's a guy named Brian Simpson. Makes me laugh.
Why?
He's just so smart, and he sits in the pocket, and there's stuff going by him. And he doesn't really do many urban rooms, but he'll kill in any room. He's just patient, and his stuff is... Sidney Castillo has a special out right now. He kind of came up under us, right? He was on the road with me early, and then with Marlon Wayans. Marlon has grown. Like, I've never seen somebody go from that to that. Like, so I don't know if you can call Marlon young anymore. He used to be the young guy. Now he's 52, so maybe not Marlon. But Sidney Castillo is one to watch. Who are some of the other people I
What
love?
about Matt Rife?
Oh, he's great.
Ohio,
Yeah.
by the way.
I know that's why you said it. OH.
Ohio, come on, baby.
I learned that from Dave.
Come on, man.
Matt Rife is great. Nate Jackson, who's kind of underling of not an underling of Matt. He was one of his boys. He does a lot of crowd work like that too. So there's some funny kids out there, like Ryan Davis. He sits in the pocket too. DC Young Fly.
DC Young Fly.
Like these people, this is another conversation, is like there was this advent of all these social media guys, right? And they were going out doing stand-up and selling tickets. And a lot of the older guys were mad because these young guys who weren't funny were selling tickets. And then they're funny and not selling tickets. And then those young dudes start getting their ass handed to them. And they finally, and some of them realized, I got to become a real stand-up. So the DC Young Flies, the King Batches, the Desi Banks, they all started to really study. Like I would see DC Young Fly in the club studying.
So he would go to different
And not, you want to go up?
shows.
No.
He just watching. So he's scouting. The scouting report.
Scouting report. And I love seeing that because now I've seen these guys 5 years later now, and they're incredible comedians.
So for you, it's a two-pronged question. As a young comedian, best advice you got and the advice that you would give a young comedian coming up right now.
Damon Wayans, right, who I used to open for, he told me, which is kind of back to what I was saying about having these longer form conversations. He said, you're not going to be great until you can enjoy the silence. And so, and I'd be like, what? I didn't understand what that meant when I'm, 26 years old. But I love being the puppet master. Like you see Dave tell a story and it's quiet. And he's doing this, and this. And then he goes,
Boom.
oh, when the room is silent, it's like a 300-yard drive.
Or it's like a musician that changes the tone and tempo of a song and brings the crowd down.
I could do whatever I want. I'm the puppet master. And so if you want to be great, young comedians, you have to learn how to appreciate the silence. I would just take exactly what he told me and tell them.
But that silence for a...
Not silence from jokes that aren't working.
Okay, that's what I'm saying. See, that's the difference.
Yes.
With Dave Chappelle, you see people lean into it a lot.
Exactly.
Okay, they lean into that.
Right. Yeah. One of my favorite comedians, one of the greatest comedians, and he's more of a comedian because he hasn't really done it in a long time. Do you remember Daryl Heath?
Yeah.
Daryl.
He didn't do a lot anymore. He's just...
Daryl used to do stuff, and I would be like, how? But he was good at the silence. Like, he would do stuff to make you lean in. Like, I remember one time we were in Atlanta for Laugh-A-Palooza. Earthquake. I keep hearing the word. Who's this earthquake? Earthquake. I was like, who's this earthquake? They go, you'll see it. I walked in, and the walls were shaking, and I was like, oh, that's why. And they're like, Daryl, you're up next. He's like, okay. I was like, are you crazy? Hey, can we put somebody up before Daryl? He's like, no, I'm good. And so Daryl would go up. Yeah, how y'all doing? You good? All right. Everybody has a nice shirt, man. And now you're like,
yeah.
And when I would see him do this, I'm like, he got him.
He got him. The tone.
Because Earthquake, I mean, they're still putting the lamps back up. And he'd be like, yeah, that's a nice shirt, man. Yeah, it's a great crowd. That's your woman? She's beautiful. Thank you. How you doing? Yeah, I'm from LA, blah, 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 blah. And people are like, is he going to tell a joke? But they were like hypnotized. And so that's when the silence works, when you're in control of the silence. Now, if you're saying jokes and they're quiet, that's not what Damon Wayans was talking about.
Well, it's interesting, too, because there's a lot of storylines, and we use tragedy, not me, but comedians.
Sure.
As a way to lighten the subject matter a little bit more. But I think you said this, and a lot of comedians said that back in the day, you had to have some form of the laughter to get through the trauma that you were going through. But it's hard to tell the truth about yourself. It's easy to tell about somebody else.
Right.
When did you get to that point in your career where telling the truth and being able to be cool with that with yourself was comfortable? The real truth.
Watching Damon. Damon would say stuff. I'm like, you sure you want everybody to know that? You know what I mean? That honesty. You know what people love Kevin? Not because he has the funny laugh and that he's short. He brings you in.
Why you put the short in there?
He's short.
Why you throw the short?
People like short people. Okay. He's amusing. He's short.
He look cute, right? Oh, he's so cute. He looks so cute.
But he brings you into stuff in his world. He talks about his marriage. His father was on drugs. He talks about, the way he came up. He talks about his kids and not liking this kid, and this kid is a crybaby. Like, he's giving you information like, yo, should you be sharing that? But then you go, yo, my dad does drugs.
Yeah, exactly.
So he makes himself endearing to you. And even if you don't have the same problems as him, the fact that he's opening up to you makes you go, wow, I love this. That's why you love Mike Epps too. Mike Epps tells you everything.
Everything. I think that's what.
Mike Epps has a joke about some of his kids are ugly. How could you say that?
Yeah, I know, right?
He says, yeah, I hadn't made it yet, or whatever he said to their mamas up.
But that's what, us being older, and I wasn't supposed to be watching it at the time, but because of the way my parents and the people were, it was Richard Pryor.
Of course.
Richard would tell you about the cocaine addiction, about the women, about his abuse growing up.
Growing up in a brothel.
But if it, live on Sunset Strip, oh my God. It just, the red suit,
yes,
the black shirt,
sure.
It was so authentic. Now, again, the story had been told about his life and everything, but yet and still, even though you knew the story, you knew the background, you knew what was going on, when he started to bring you in and started to talk to these things that happened in his life, it was like almost like the first time hearing it, because the way he presented it.
Yeah, remember he talked about when he set himself on fire.
Yeah, that's right.
He talked about the bad joke shows. He had the match. Yeah. I heard y'all jokes. Yeah, I said, what is this? Richard Pryor running down the street. F y'all.
Yeah. But he makes fun of, and that's an endearing quality, even though he had all this others. He had another personality, another person over here.
Yeah.
His personal life, then his comedic life.
Right. Two different people.
Matter
of fact, the voice, and so funny, I was just talking to my friend Eni Clemens, who portrayed Richard Pryor in this miniseries, and a lot of people were wondering why he wasn't imitating Richard Pryor, right? But he's like, if you watch interviews with Richard Pryor, that guy doesn't sound like Live on Sunset Strip. Like, he had a different cadence, a different voice. He said, so I was doing him because you're going to see me doing, I'm not really going to do a performance in this TV show. I'm going to be having conversations and interacting with the rest of these characters. And so I think there was two different Richards, maybe three or four.
It might have been, but you see a different Richard in Stir Crazy.
Yeah.
Okay. The movie.
It's one of my
favorite,
Goldberger.
Yeah. I mean, but it's interesting too, at that time, was that in 78, something like that? Mm-hmm. You got this picture in your mind, and I know, probably for the white audience, they had this in his mind about Richard Pryor, who he was. Even if they saw something,
right.
How could he pull this off? What was, it was Gene Wilder.
Who was a genius.
He was a genius. Willy Wonka, shout out. Made me want chocolate all day long. All day long. But the chemistry between the two.
Remember, they did 3 movies together. They did Hear No Evil, Say No Evil, and Silver Streak.
Silver Streak. But it's just watching the dynamic, and you talked about the Richard Pryor, the genius in him, going from just doing stand-up, performing, and then the acting.
Right.
And then even what he played in Harlem Nights. Oh, my God. I mean, it's just...
To have to... And basically, you're talking about the funniest man in the world who said, okay, I'm here with Red Fox and Richard and Eddie Murphy. I'm going to be the straight man.
The straight man.
But he still was funny. But he's like, I'm going to let them do that, and I'm going to sit back and do this. I'm going to be the quarterback. Genius. And that guy ain't the same guy in The Toy, right?
Right.
That's not the same guy in Lady Sings the Blues.
No, at all. No, it's not.
He had range.
He had. Speaking of Red Fox, see that shirt right there, partner.
It's so funny when young people ask me who this is. I'm like, you're so disrespectful.
So people don't realize too. Young people, they may see Sanford and Son.
Yep.
They don't understand that he was a comedian.
And Malcolm X's best friend.
Right. Isn't that crazy?
Ain't that crazy? Can you imagine you walk down the street and you go, yo, 2 different Reds.
2 different Reds. But, watching those, I guess part of, and again, I'm not the novice as far as knowing everything, but growing up at the time, comedy was huge when I was younger. Because whether you saw a stand-up or not, a lot of the sitcoms had a lot of comedy in it.
God, I miss those. We came up in a great era.
Why is it that, in your opinion, 70s, 80s, we had more black shows on TV?
Well,
at that time compared to what we see now.
We actually have a lot of black shows now.
I'm talking about
more dramas.
Dramas and
yes.
What's happening? Good Times, The Jeffersons, 227.
Yeah.
What am I missing?
Sanford and Son.
Sanford and Son.
Yes. If you want to come a little later, The Cosby Show.
Cosby Show.
And there was an era in the 90s we was winning too. With Hang with Mr. Cooper and Jamie Foxx and Martin. So it's like, I don't know if it's cyclical.
Right.
Like, they're going to be funny now. Now we're going to make them dramatic. They're going to be funny now. So I think they're trying to lean back in because actually Tommy Davidson has a new show possibly coming out from that character Varnell he played on Martin. And so I think they're coming back. Mike Epps, they have a multicam on Netflix, him and Wanda Sykes and Kim Fields. And then there was this great show called The Real Husbands of Hollywood.
Oh, yeah. But, and let me stop you there. And maybe I should skew it a little bit more. There are a lot of shows, but back then, because of the change in how we're viewing shows, whether that's streaming platforms, and you don't have to be on network TV.
Right.
Back then, you didn't have the offerings.
We had to run home and be home.
You had to be home and watch it because
now
it was on.
Now
you can watch it. So let me preface that and say, back then it was on primetime TV. Jefferson's came on at a certain time, prime time wise, okay? And you had to be there to watch it, okay? If you missed it, it wasn't no rerun. You had to wait. You had to wait somehow till they ran a rerun.
Right.
But do you see that continuing to evolve with the expansion of
the streaming
and everything?
Yeah, I think it's harder to sell now. I think there's a lot of cutbacks.
The studio's cutting back.
Oh, my God. Writers' rooms now are like 1 dude, 2 dudes. It used to be 10, 15 people. There used to be, back then, a season was 24, 26 episodes. Now it's 8, 6. And so you end up binge watching and then you have nothing to watch. You know what I mean? So that's kind of messed up. I hate that. I hate when shows don't allow me to binge watch, and then I hate the
when
show.
You got to binge watch.
I'm like, I don't want to watch another one. I want to save it.
Be up all night. Be up all night.
Yes.
All night long.
Yeah.
And I guess I see a lot of young and up and coming actors, comedians getting into the space. And then what's the next iteration of comedy? We are going to get back to those shows that, back in the day, you got with your family. Right. That was a beautiful part of the 70s and 80s, and that you sat down, really in the 70s and 80s too. You sat down with your family, got popcorn, got whatever it was, got in front of the TV, and you watched the show together.
We do that. Like my wife, we have a screen in the backyard. We have movie night and TV night. and we have the kids come. What do you want to watch? And we've brought back the classics for them to know, so they can know that their music ain't shit and that these TV shows ain't shit. So you can know why we talk the way we talk, why we're so judgmental when we see this. Just like, hey, my dad thought Dr. J was better than Jordan, but we make sure that they've seen all of it. Then now you can compare and contrast.
And what's, speaking of bringing your kids back and growing up in this world, in Hollywood, as a comedian, how has that shaped you as a father? And the kids, at one point, did they, again, with athletes, oh, that's just my dad.
Right.
Trying to be funny. He ain't that funny. So one, being a father in Hollywood, how was that? And the things you had to go through. But how do your kids, when they were younger, really see you?
I mean, it's so funny. Like, I'm just dad. You know what I mean? Like, other people are famous, but I see dad every day.
Every day.
I heard dad farted. You know what I mean? Dad picks his nose.
Right.
Dad is getting cussed out by mommy. He's normal. But I've never heard Dave Chappelle get cussed out. I've never heard, Denzel, so they're still, even though you grow up in this, there's still somebody that's going to make you go, yo.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Cute story. So Kevin's daughter and my kids are best friends. We're in, God, this is going to sound very bougie. We're in the vineyard.
Oh, the vineyard.
About to play golf. And Don Cheadle comes over to pick me up to go play. And Kevin's daughter froze. I go, what's wrong with you? She goes, she ran back in the room. I go, what's wrong with you? She goes, now she's a big comic book person. She goes, she's crying. I go, what's wrong? She goes, is War Machine out there?
War Machine.
I go, yeah. I said, come say hi to War Machine. I can't say hi to War Machine. And I'm thinking, your dad's Kevin Hart, but that's her dad.
That's her dad. That's her dad.
That ain't Mouse. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, just like your kids, it's cool when they saw you.
Yeah, they like.
But then, back then, they go Jason Kidd or whatever. You know what I mean?
It's a funny dynamic. But what were some of the challenges to being a father in Hollywood, raising kids?
I was lucky, man. My wife is such a disciplinarian. Like, we were amongst, the super uber wealthy, and our kids never were like, I want what he has or I want what she has, because we gave it to him. Like,
because we gave it to him.
It might not have been that.
We gave it to him.
It might not have been the year it came out, but they got it.
Right, they got it eventually.
No, I don't think my kids ever. We were so lucky. They never were like trying to compare and contrast. But and that's the problem with our culture. Like on my block, right, the block that I live on, some decent houses, right, but. We're the black family with the BMWs and the Mercedes. Everybody else got Subarus and Camrys. That's what we're supposed to have, right? But I can't go on Sunset with the Subaru or Camry. They'd be like, what happened to Chris? Is he okay?
Well, you thought you was going to the Outback, huh?
Yeah, they'd be like, damn, man. He ain't survived
He all bad.
He ain't survived his vibe.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, we kind of have to have, although I also want nice stuff, but my block, Pathfinders, this dude probably make way more money than me. Mm-hmm. But nobody would know by his car.
But did you ever fall into that trap in Hollywood? Again, you got the kids,
right?
But trying to keep up, trying to impress, because it's.
I don't know about impress, but I was never going to make us look down upon. You know what I mean? Nobody was going to ever feel sorry for it. Not that they would have ever had to, but we kept up. You know what I mean? Like I would literally, I don't know if you remember my post, whenever I worked, my hashtag was another mother private school.
That check going right up there. Check going right to it.
Yeah, so kids had a great life.
It's something too, because it's a challenge with you, one, being famous. That's one thing.
I'm not famous. I'm popular.
Okay.
Like if this was high school, there'd be the quarterback, the receiver. I was the strong safety.
You strong safety. Okay, but you're very popular, but you're growing up in LA and in Hollywood.
Right.
In this environment, raising kids.
Yeah.
And those intimate conversations that you had to have with them about what life is really about and stay with it.
Right.
But yet give them the things that they were given.
Right.
And you grew up, where'd you grow up? You grew up in Inglewood.
Yeah.
As much as we want to duplicate how we grew up and give it to our kids, we know we can't. From an education perspective, you got to send them to a really great school.
I remember, it was so funny you said this. My wife I was trying to be my parents, right?
Right. Uh-huh.
So they wanted something. I go, we can't be spending money like this. Da, da, da. We can't afford it. She went, yes, we can.
She said that thing.
She goes, yeah, we can. I go, oh, we can.
Yeah, we can.
I was trying to be my mom.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, we can. I was like, shit, you ruined it. But we definitely didn't. I wouldn't say we spoiled them. They worked for everything, that they got. And then all we want in return is respect. And we love to hear other people say something great about your kids. You know what I mean? That was always would make me excited. Like the teacher or another parent of a kid, when I go pick them up, I wish my son was like your son, or right. I wish my daughter cleaned up after herself. Like that kind of stuff is rewarding. That's how they earned the Jordans. You know what I mean?
Right. Did you feel it was an extra burden, too, that your kids had to be in line just because of who you were? I mean, how they carried themselves. Or, you know what I mean?
Yes.
A little bit. Yeah. I'm the same way with mine,
right.
just because the level of expectation that I know my sons had to be on point. Mm-hmm. Because the expectation
that's Jimmy
level.
Jackson's boys.
That's right.
Right.
And I wanted them to represent themselves, first of all.
Right.
And the family. But I felt that added responsibility as a father to ensure that they were prepared and can handle themselves in any situation. I got a young one that's 7, my oldest 32, that you can, and I took pride in that.
Yes.
And when I hear those comments
it's
about
it's
the best.
Yeah. Yeah. When other people say stuff about your kids, you go, babe, we did a good job. I told you if we kept beating them, all this stuff would work.
And as you look at it too, and kids are how old now?
20 and 18.
2018. Last one is going to be gone tomorrow. Okay. So now, what still drives you on the comedy side?
Because I'm not finished.
Finished.
Like,
okay.
literally,
What's next?
Like I have a special. I need that to drop.
Okay.
Like I don't want my tombstone to read, boy, he could write for everybody. Like I want to be known as a great performer as well. And
so we're going to bring that back to the beginning of the involvement of Chris Spencer now performing in front of the camera or on stage?
All of it.
Okay.
I'm too cute for radio. I'm burnt.
Stupid, man.
I'm burnt. But yeah, man, I'm a performer. Literally, like, I do all these other things. Like if this was high school, we walked into the cafeteria and I walked in and Spike Lee and F. Gary Gray and Gina Prince Bythewood was over here with at the directors. These guys are going to be the future directors. And then over here is Kenya Barris and Lena Waithe and those are the future writers, showrunner, producers, Shonda Rhimes. And over here is Tiffany and Cedric and all the silly people. I'm going right over here. Jay Phillips and the clowns. I'm a clown. Ruben Paul. These are some of the names. Buddy Lewis. Buddy. I'm going over here. I do all this. I'll say what's up to them and be like, Joker, give me a fry. And you stupid. Yo, that test was hard. I'm going to sit with this is who I am. I am a clown.
But do you think that hurts or helps you?
I don't know.
But no, because it's a serious, but how people view you in the bigger aspect of what you want to do.
But all three of these tables are doing well.
Yeah, but I'm saying, this is what I'm saying. Yeah. Because for people to take you serious and do things, say on the acting side, and you don't want to be typecast just as Chris Spencer, the funny guy all the time. How much does that being the funny guy may impact or impede the other?
I don't mind because Robin Williams, Kevin, Eddie, all these people were dunking a lot as funny people, and then they got the opportunity to bring the ball up and do some dramas.
Okay.
So I want to be a great dunker in this comedy stuff, and then, you know what I mean? Jim Carrey, like, they were great comedic actors and stand-ups, and then had Chris Rock. They got opportunities to do these other things.
Mm-hmm. So what's the path to that right now? Because you talk about now you want to be the performer.
Yeah,
now on both.
When this special drops,
okay,
people are going to be like, "Oh, he can do that as well," and he's pretty good.
So when is it? Don't tease us and don't.
Well,
I mean, I know you can't divulge all of it, but give me.
It's been shot.
Okay, it's been shot.
So I was back to liars.
You was told what?
I talked to a network. I know the president of the network. I said, "Yeah, I'm shooting a special." He goes, "You better bring it here." All I know is that Chris Spencer's special better be here. I said, "Oh, okay." Then I saw him a little later. I'm shooting next week, and we'll be here with open arms. And then when I gave it to him, the arms weren't open; it fell to the ground. And so now I've had to shop it, and I've had offers. It's just not quite the offers that I want. Mm-hmm. And it's going to come to a point where I'm going to have to just go, I just got to put this out here and try some of these other methods of other ways that people are putting out specials, whether it be YouTube or another streaming platform. Because I was aiming at the big ones, disappointed that the biggest one disappointed me, one of the biggest ones. And so I might have to just suck it up and go, here it is, here I am. And then it's like a musician's first album. I might have to take an L on this one, but I'll be able to tour and prepare for albums 2 and 3.
Gotcha. A lot of information, man. But before we get out of here, I got a couple quick hitters for you.
Sure.
That I want to get into. Just test your skill
PXG.
set. Or you want some golf stuff?
No, I thought you were going to ask
So what, you play with PXGs?
I play with PXGs.
I know you got them freeze. I know you ain't paid for them.
That's right. I remember when all y'all had them early. I was like, y'all pay for these?
Man, stop playing.
What are you playing with?
TaylorMade's right now. TaylorMade's
790s?
790s. I got to get a new set, but I'm playing with the new Adapt Cobra 3-wood, 5-wood.
Everybody loves it. The driver too?
No, so not the driver.
What's your driver?
So I got the older Cobra driver.
Everybody loves this Cobra.
Oh, wait, the Adapt right now got 33 settings, bro.
See,
I know.
You be adjusting on the course?
No, I just got it.
But I've never adjusted my club ever.
I just got it, so I'm trying to learn how to hit it, man. It's a trip. But Cobra drivers and three woods. I just got the 5, so I'm going to see how that hits. Now again, still the person swinging the club. I don't care how good. I don't care how good the equipment is.
I don't know if we can say Indian anymore. It's always the Native American.
There you go. Yeah. There you go. Okay, look, quick hitter. Okay, I got some rapid fire questions. Mm-hmm. Who's the GOAT of comedy?
Richard Pryor.
Ooh, that was quick.
That's easy.
Second.
God, that's a toughie, right? Because I want to say Eddie, but it's almost like Biggie only had 2 albums and Eddie only had 2 specials. And so, but those 2 albums and those 2 specials are fire. But David Kyrie Chappelle is something we've never seen. So I have to have a 2A and a B. Is that possible?
That's possible.
Yeah,
I give you that one. All-time Hollywood crush. Your wife listening too.
Yeah.
So it better be in the past, partner.
Cicely Tyson.
Really?
No, I'm just had to go.
Miss Jane Pittman? Well, come on, man.
I had to go back far enough so she wouldn't be jealous.
I was like, go back, but not Miss Jane Pittman.
Halle.
Ohio, by the way.
I know. Halle Berry was... Yeah.
Halle...
I used to do a joke. Halle Berry's so fine that if anything ever happened, I would tell my wife. But what'd you do today? I'd be like, I'm glad you asked. Me and Halle...
She could be mad, and she could be upset, but she can't be really mad.
She'd be like, all right. Because, she'd be like... Because she probably got a Hollywood crush, too.
You think so?
It's probably me, but...
No, stop playing. Okay, look. Give me a joke that got you a gig.
A joke. Mm-hmm. So it had to be in my stand-up, not just a regular joke.
A good one that got you over the top.
I don't know about over the top, but I told a joke that got me a gig at a doctor's convention.
Really?
So a dude's at a bar and he sees this woman. They're looking at each other, and they have some drinks. He's like, "You want to go back to my place?" And she's like, "Absolutely." They go back to his place. She goes, "Give me 1 second." She's in the bathroom forever, 15 minutes. They come back. He's like, "You okay?" She's like, "Yeah." They have sex. Great time, right? He goes, "Let me ask you something." She's like, "What?" He says, "You're definitely." They were at a doctor's convention, by the way. He goes, "You're a surgeon." She goes, "How'd you know?" He goes, "Because you scrubbed up for so long in the bathroom." She's like, "Yeah, I am." And she goes, "And you're an anesthesiologist." He goes, "How'd you know?" She goes, "Because I didn't feel shit." So I ended up doing this.
So you were doing
this thing for this plastic surgeon who fixes like people who have like cleft problems and hair lips in Africa.
Yeah.
So, but that joke, he's like, "I want you to come to my thing."
Get paid for it? I mean, pay.
Pay.
Okay.
Pay.
All right. Okay. If you had to have a theme song for your comedy career, what would it be?
So Fresh and So Clean?
So Fresh and So Clean. Okay.
Or Classic Man? Yeah, So Fresh and So Clean.
I like that one.
Yeah.
Last one. How does Chris Spencer want to be remembered? We talked about the tombstone earlier.
As one of the funnest and funniest human beings that anyone has ever met.
Well, I think if people get a chance to sit down and talk to you and understand who you are as a person, it'd be easy for them to come to that, because I got the chance to know you over the years. We've all grown and evolved, but it's funny, kind of still the same.
Right, we still the same.
You know, it's
still the same. We oh yeah, ... can get up and down from anywhere. That's important. That's important. Man, I tell you what, this was so good. It felt like we should have maybe charged some people for this episode right here, man. Listen, but I do want you to let the audience, our fans that tune into the show, kind of know some upcoming stuff, like what you're doing, like coming up, and how to get in touch with you too. Okay, so on Vice TV, as well as I think it's still on Hulu as well. Myself, Tiffany Haddish, and Ryan Davis did a 10-episode retrospective on Black comedy in America, and that's the name of the show, Black Comedy in America. And we take you from the Chitlin circuit all the way to basically Kevin Hart. Episodes like Def Comedy Jam, The Kings of Comedy, Dave Chappelle, Eddie Murphy, and 80s sitcoms. 10 episodes. It's excuse me, I'm Spanish from earlier. It's incredible. It's shot well. It's produced by this company called Smack, Michael Strahan's production company. Constance Schwartz and my wife Vanessa is also an executive producer on it, as well as a guy named Anthony Brown. And it's just Anthony Smith. It's a must watch. And season 2 is coming soon.
So before we go to, in this interview, I wanted to bring that up. Yeah. By going through that process, did you learn anything new by going through that, by putting all of this together?
Sure.
Yes. What was the biggest thing that you kind of got out of that?
That the same way you just described listening to Richard Pryor, kind of having to sneak to listen to it, everybody from Michael Eric Dyson to... Is it Eric Michael Dyson? I always mix it up. Michael Eric Dyson. We didn't only interview comedians. We talked to Al Sharpton. We talked to authors and other people who are in this game. Marcus King, who used to manage Jamie Foxx. Like, we didn't only talk to people who were entertainers, but people who are around comedy and historians. And so a lot of people share those same intimate moments. Bless you. And so I learned a lot. I learned Marla Gibbs.
Oh.
Her story.
Yeah.
Yo, she's got a story. You should. The way she got the Jeffersons, I'm not going to tell you guys. I need you to watch. You're going to be like, really? This woman's 90-something. Incredible stories. Kim Whitley and Tiffany share stories. Bernie Mac and Bernie Mac's daughter and Tiffany talk. And then I have the D-Rays and JB Smooths and Guy and Joe Torre. It's just like, It's a nice, well-rounded 10 episodes, giving you some factual information of how we as comedians tick, and how comedy and how black comedy is the culture.
Is a culture.
And black comedy is comedy. Like, really, if you think about it, what white comedians, maybe one or two, were doing stadiums like Cat Williams and Kevin and Dave and Chris? That's us.
Right.
That's us.
Mm-hmm.
The superstar comedian was invented by us.
I love it, man.
Yeah.
Well, good, man. You
Yes.
know,
on social media, I'm sorry. Let me give you
social
that.
media.
Instagram, The Real Chris Spencer. Facebook, I guess, Chris Spencer. Some of you older people, MySpace, Chris Spencer. And some of you older black people, Black Planet,
Black
Chris Spencer.
Stupid, man. Stupid, man. You know, one thing I figured out, too, that as we get out of here, our commonality, what we really have in common, is that when it comes to golf, we're America's guest.
Listen, somebody told me he is a member who doesn't play dues.
At multiple courses.
Listen, I dropped my membership just yesterday because I was at other people's courses more than mine.
Right.
And sometimes I pay at those other courses.
Oh, big, yeah.
You know
if
what I mean?
somebody invites me to, I'm like, you always have to get it.
I do what women do when you take them to eat. They go, you sure you don't? Please stop.
You know you ain't got that
Stop
wallet.
before I get to the purse. Man, you ain't got to pay. All right, I need a glove. Yeah, come on, don't worry. Those are the kind that you want to do something nice for. Like I played with some people at you play Alpine in New York?
No.
Dude, I went in there. I said, I gotta get a shirt. Go ahead.
Right.
Okay. And then I needed a glove and some hat and some. I was like, I want some trinkets. Don't worry about it.
Put it on the account.
I was like,
Put it on the account.
I was like, it's a Scotty Cameron over there that nobody has. Yeah, so I mean, we're spoiled. We travel the world playing golf.
Man. It really is, man. I look forward to the next time we get out and play.
Absolutely,
I
man.
appreciate you coming on seriously because I just thought it was important for me to be able to have you tell your story, the story about comedy, the involvement of it, the involvement of what you're doing and kind of where you're going. Because a lot of times you get locked in the box a little bit.
Right.
And it's good to have these kind of conversations to kind of open up, you know, that bandwidth a little bit more so people can understand that it's much more than being the funny guy.
Right.
So I love it, man. Appreciate you, brother.
Dude, my guy.
You got it.
When you back?
I'll be back next week.
We're going to play.
Got it. Free. If it's free, it's for me. Give me 3.
We call some rich friends.
Thanks a lot. And once again, you can catch the show at Jim Jackson Show, youtube.com, The Rich Eisen Show. But also, too, wherever you download any of your podcasts, please take a little time and download ours as well. Thanks again for tuning in to The Jim Jackson Show.